All right, let's talk about one of the most sacred rules in running, the 20-mile long run. If you've ever even thought about training for a marathon, you know this one. It's the big, scary, legendary milestone. But what if it's not the magic bullet we all think it is? Let's dig in.
So here's the core question, right? For decades, getting that 20-miler done has been the ultimate confidence boost, the final exam before the big day. But is that feeling based on solid science? Or is it just a powerful tradition that maybe, just maybe, we've been a little afraid to question? And look, before we get too deep, we have to acknowledge its power. For so many runners, the 20-miler is this absolute non-negotiable. It's the rite of passage that says you're serious about conquering those 26.2 miles. And the psychology here is it's massive. Think about it. You're out there, you're training for this insane 26.2-mile race. Seeing that first number on your watch finally tick over from a 1 to a 2, that feels like a huge mental victory. It suddenly makes the whole thing feel possible.
But, and this is a big but, that mental boost might be where the magic stops. Because when you really start to look closer at the evidence, that number 20 starts to feel a little bit, random.
Okay, now check this out. This is where it gets really interesting. For most of the world, using the metric system, their magic number is 30 kilometers. But wait a minute, look at the conversion. That's only 18.64 miles. So are we really saying there's a huge physiological benefit between 18.6 miles and 20 miles? Or did we just pick a nice round number that sounded good?
And that brings us to the real science-backed reason to question a one-size-fits-all 20-miler. It turns out it might not be about the distance at all. It's about the time you spend on your feet. And for a lot of us, there's a very real point of diminishing returns.
This chart just lays it out so perfectly. An elite runner, they'll knock out 20 miles in under 2 hours. A solid 3-hour marathoner might take about 2.5. But for a 4-hour marathoner, that same distance could take almost 4 hours. The physical damage, the stress on the body, it's not even in the same ballpark. And here's the science to prove it. The research is pretty clear. All that good stuff that happens when you run, building capillaries, developing mitochondria, building your engine, it all starts to plateau after 2 hours. And after 3 hours, the extra aerobic benefit is tiny. So let's go back to that runner who's out there for almost 4 hours. That last hour isn't really making them fitter. It's just piling on a massive amount of fatigue, jacking up their injury risk, and it's going to take them way longer to recover. That one run could actually mess up their whole next week of training. So, if grinding out one super long, punishing run isn't the best answer for everyone, then what is? Well, a lot of coaches have a really smart alternative, especially for those of us who would be on our feet for more than 3 hours to hit that 20-mile mark. It's called the back-to-back long run. And it's brilliant. Instead of one monster effort, you split it. Maybe you run a long run on Saturday, then come back and do a medium long run on Sunday. You get the benefit of running on tired legs, which is exactly what happens late in a marathon, and you still get that high weekend mileage, all without the same level of physical breakdown.
All of this really points to a fundamental change in how we should think about training. It's a philosophy that more and more top coaches and experts are getting behind.
I absolutely love this quote from Coach Jay Johnson. Metabolic fitness precedes structural readiness. It sounds kind of academic, but what it means is simple. Your heart and lungs get fit way faster than your bones, tendons, and muscles can handle the pounding. Pushing for a big mileage number that your body's structure isn't ready for, that is a recipe for injury, plain and simple.
Yeah, the crucial thing to remember is that the long run is just one piece of the puzzle. It's not the only piece. Experts like Coach John Davis are always reminding us to think bigger. It's about preventing injuries before they start. It's about working on your running form. It's about a whole approach, not just one workout.
So, this really brings us to the new rule of marathon training. And it's a simple idea, but it changes everything. The goal of your long run isn't to hit some arbitrary distance. The goal is to spend a productive amount of time on your feet, probably capping it around that 3-hour mark. At the end of the day, training smarter isn't just about running more. It's about finding that perfect sweet spot. It's about getting the biggest bang for your buck on that long run without creating so much fatigue that it torpedoes the rest of your training. It's all about balancing stress and recovery.
So the next time you sit down to map out your marathon training, this is the big question you have to ask yourself. Are you going to be chained to the old tradition of hitting 20 miles no matter what it costs your body? Or are you going to focus on time and tailor your training to what actually makes you stronger, not just more beaten up? The choice is yours.